love calypso. I am not saying I am the best calypsonian. I just find that that is something natural and is ours. Claim it. You know, in Trinidad and Tobago, we don't like to claim what is ours. We wait till people thief it, and then we say, that's ours, you're a thief. I believe in claiming. And my dream, only taking up my time, and I know there's no injury time. So I had my final moments here. And I wanted to go and sing in the big yard, the Marsh Gras. Well, that's very competitive, but I still wanted the experience. So what I did is I got an opportunity to sing at the Jean Pay Complex, which holds 20,000 people that night in the political commentary. The song I sang, incidentally, was I Afraid Them. That was the name of it. So I didn't just change the name for today, I Afraid Them. And who do you think I went and asked for help? None other than my favorite calypsonian. There are many favorites, but he's like my number one because he's the people's calypsonian, the Black Stallion. And this is my last 2 minutes now. The Black Stallion, I went to him, I said, Dr. Mr. Stallion, teach me the correct way to do this thing. He said, okay, sing a verse. So I say, and when I'm making up, I think of you know, how you come on the stage, and then he said, well, sing the verse. I say, okay, it's called I Afraid Them. I don't care what they say, this is my country. And I am so loud and very proud. I say, hold on. He said, why you? I said, but I'm singing like you know, like how you just come on the stage. He said, no, let me tell you how I would sing it. He said, I would sing it like this. I don't care what they say, this is my country. And this land that I love must come first. No one could tell me PNM, COP or UNC. Don't get uptight, don't speak out right unrehearsed. He said, you see, you get the difference? You want to jump about and vex up with the people. He said, engage them. Well, you know, lucky thank God, because for the chorus, I was because they want us to run and they want us to hide and get scared every time that they see. Man, that night, I'd be dead.
Definitely don't see her in that light all the time. Joining us on set, Keita Demming. Keita, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Emma. How are you?
I am pretty good. And we're talking about TEDxPortofSpain.
Yes, so this year our conference is on October 6th. Every year we host this conference that is the Trini version of a TED conference, and we try to maintain the similar standard of what TED.com has. And for those people who don't know what TED is about ideas worth spreading. It's been around for 30 plus years, and the goal is to try to capture and harness the best ideas in our country, and archive them and share them with our audience.
Is there any relation to TEDx International?
Yeah, so we have a licensee from TED.com, and I'm myself and another licensee. We are co-licensees for that. And we have some rules. Anybody can apply for the license, and we follow their rules. So we're quite limited on that perspective, but the brand has allowed us to do some really interesting things in Trinidad and allowed us to get access to speakers that I don't think we would have been able to get access to had we not had the TED affiliation.
It's been creating waves in Trinidad and Tobago. Everyone, you know, looking at independent thoughts, and you see the speakers. How do you choose the speakers? I mean, Jillian really surprised me there, I must say.
Yeah, so Jillian turned out to be one of our fun talks, and we go through a really rigorous process to choose speakers. We ask. We have now TEDxPortofSpain fans. People follow us. People look forward to TED every year. So we recently did a survey, and people said that TEDxPortofSpain is their reset button every year. So when they think they're down and they no longer have hope for Trinidad, they reset here. But our speaker process is we get our audience to nominate speakers, and then we sort of work our networks to try and find speakers who can speak to the theme. And we try and get speakers across a broad range of topics. So TED is technology, entertainment, design. We do technology, entertainment, design. We do social. We do poverty. We do education. We might do social media. So we try and get a broad spectrum of speakers. And we have a team of 5 people who painstakingly try and figure out what's the best lineup for this year.
What are some of the factors that you consider in determining your lineup?
So the key thing is the idea. Does this person have an idea worth spreading? That's number one. And number two, we look for humility in speakers. Because in terms of being able to coach a speaker to deliver what we call the talk of their lives, if there isn't that humility piece, we often find it's very difficult to work with speakers. So we pair all of our speakers with a coach, and they work for about 4 months on their talk. So on the day, what they're delivering is well crafted, well thought out, well executed. So it's quite the commitment. So it's hard.
What was one of the most memorable talks that you've ever witnessed in the Trinidad version?
Oh my goodness, there are quite a few memorable ones, and it's hard for me to say that without slighting anybody. But I think one of my most memorable ones was Christopher Laird. Christopher Laird did a talk where he reminded us at one point the Caribbean tried to be a unified body, and we tried to have a flag that would represent all of us. And he stood on stage and he just ripped the flag in the middle of the talk. And my disappointment was that I didn't have a mic on the stage to capture the sound of that rip. And I didn't have a mic in the audience because the entire audience gasped because he made us fall in love with this flag, and then he ripped it. And then he pulled out another flag that he had and brought us back to, as the Caribbean, we still have potential to be a powerful body and punch well above our weight class.
Now, an idea worth spreading. Is this just a talk shop? Are we going to come to TEDxPortofSpain and just kind of say, well, that was entertaining, now we go home?
Yeah, we ask ourselves that every year. So what's the value of TEDxPortofSpain? And again, I was really glad we did that survey this year, and we surveyed people who attended. And the biggest thing that people find is the network that they get introduced to. And if you are exposing yourselves to ideas on a regular basis, it means that more and more you are connecting to that potential for innovation, connecting for that potential to do associative thinking, connecting to ideas that you may not think are relevant to your core business or whatever you're passionate about. So TEDxPortofSpain is that ideas worth spreading, but that's 10% of it. The implementation is hard, but it's a very important 10%, for sure.
When people leave a TEDx, you say that you had this survey. What are the benchmarks for success that you've identified? Is it simply talking so I can come and say, well, this person said that?
So my benchmark for success with a talk is, can somebody say, hey, so this year we have, for example, Keita is one of our speakers, or we have Margaret Rose is one of our speakers. If at the end of the talk, somebody can't say, I went to TEDxPortofSpain and Margaret Rose spoke about this, and I'd never thought about it in this way, then that talk hasn't been successful for me. The talk has to be successful in that people need to be very clear about what the idea is and what message the speaker is trying to get across. So Afra, for example, when he did his talk, which went viral, pretty much viral online, but his thing is that he gave us an equation for a corruption, and it was a very simple message of, if you don't have transparency, then you're likely to have increased levels of corruption. And it was very simple, but it was very profound.
You're calling it Reality Revisited.
Yeah, so the theme this year is Reality Revisited, which is that often we take what is on the surface for reality, and it's not until we dig a little bit deeper and we scratch the surface that we begin to see what is really happening. So within the team, somebody made a joke the other day that sometimes when you scratch some people who look like they have lots of substance, once you dig below the surface, you realize that they're actually quite shallow. So
what is the difference with substance and shallow in your mind?
So depth.
It's easy to fake it, you know.
Exactly, and that's what we're talking about, so depth. And there's one of my favorite authors, Tim Brown, he talks about T-shaped people. And T-shaped people are people who are broad, yet have a depth. So they're broad in quite a number of fields and interests, but they have depth in one specific area. And a lot of people are missing that depth, and that depth is really important in terms of finding innovation, insight, and bringing new ideas into reality.
Now, in terms of the event itself, how can you get involved? And why should I want to come to TEDx?
If you are a lover of ideas and you're a lover of TED.com, a lot of people who come to TEDx, they love TED.com. Our network and the people who are attending is growing every year, and every year we are meeting interesting people. One of the most memorable moments I had was a speaker who's based abroad said to me, if there was something like TEDx when I lived here, I would have never moved abroad, because it's that place where you find like-minded people. Like in a survey, one of the people said something, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something like, it's where you find your tribe and you're not crazy about the ideas you have. It brings you sort of sanity. And that's sort of what we're getting with TED, is that it's easy to get discouraged within Trinidad. And what we are offering is offering a space where people who are forward-thinking and people who are pioneers and visionaries can connect and then begin to work outside in the real world. That's what we're offering every year, that place for you to reset, for you to get that inspiration, for you to get that new idea that you can then bring into your company, kind of thing.
Bringing new ideas and scratching a little deeper than the surface. You know, it's so easy to fake it in this country. And the people of the most shallow consequences are the ones that seem to make it the biggest. I don't know, maybe it just says something about us as a people, but TEDx really, the concepts, sharing ideas, igniting change, like-minded people. Keita, you know, a lot of people look at it and think it's an artsy-fartsy sort of thing, that, you know what, let's just all go and talk spoken word and speak above the level of intelligence of the average human being.
And that's fine, they can have that opinion, but I know it's a lot more than that. So, for example, we challenge all of our speakers to come to bring out something that is, there's one speaker.
Do you vet the speeches?
Each speaker is paired with a coach. Okay. So the coach tries to get them to, is this idea really one that somebody is going to be interested in? There's one speaker we haven't announced her, we're announcing her next week. But when I think about her talk in particular, the thing that she wanted to talk about was, we said, that's what everybody knows you to talk about all the time. Talk about something different. Talk about the thing that you're most afraid to talk about, the thing that you wish people would understand. And if people understood this idea, we could really get some traction. So we've done that with, like, Keith Nurse is one of our speakers this year. We have Juliana Sinanan, who's really putting a very different twist on social media and understanding how we use social media and how social media influences us. We have Arvinda Ramprasad, who is quite a surprising speaker for us because he was part of our TEDx team. And he moved away to work on his own project. And he organized a TEDx event. And we were looking for somebody who could talk about technology so that we are no longer see ourselves as consumers in the global south, but producers. And we were trying to brainstorm about who's somebody who can do that. And we were looking, and then it turned out that Arvinda has a lot of expertise in this, and his whole area is in innovation, and particularly tech innovation. So he's going to be a very interesting speaker to talk to us about what's the relevance of blockchain in the Caribbean? What's the relevance of Bitcoin in the Caribbean? How are those things innovations going to influence us? And yeah, so
I wish I could start the Bitcoin conversation, but we are out of time for this interview, so definitely you'll have to check out and hear what the TEDx speakers have to say about it, but go get the information. It's on the screen, the date and the times, and we will also post all of the information on our Facebook page as well. I'm Hema Ramsoon. Stay with us, and at this time we're going to find out what's happening in the world of technology.
Tech Thursday is brought to you by Blink B Mobile.